Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Welcome to episode 242 of the official Batman on Film podcast. This episode is another installment of Batteries to Power, revisiting the pop culture phenomenon that was the 60s Batman TV series starring Adam West and Burt Ward. I'm senior contributor Javi Trujillo, and joining me today is an alum from Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters who now spends a good amount of time flying through the skies of Metropolis and haunting the rooftops of Gotham, Greg Hinck. How are you this morning, pal?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. I'm ready to talk some Batman with you.
Yeah, ready to get silly.
Well, I've got some getting to know you questions as we begin, since this is your first time on any BOF show. Who is your favorite Batman artist?
Oh man. We talked about this the other day too. It's so tough because when I was a kid, it was the Nightfall era was what I was seeing in some of the first books I got. And when I got back into comics, it was Capullo. And I've always had a soft spot for Capullo. I might even go with that. I don't know. It's so tough. It's so
Do you have
vibe-based.
any of his figures?
I don't.
Oh man,
I don't.
They really did a good job on capturing his style, I feel like, on those.
Yeah. Well, and because when I was a kid, Spawn was huge. I mean, it was the 90s. I was 10 when I first went to a comic shop, I think. So seeing Spawn, and when Capullo got on that, I became obsessed and was collecting every issue of that and have, the Art of Greg Capullo books and those sorts of things. And when I was an adult and got back into comics, when I had money and time, it was Snyder Capullo doing that run, and that one blew me away. I mean, that might be some of my favorite, just because it blends some of the creepiness of the things I saw in the Nightfall era and like the Kelly art and things like that with the more modern clean line stuff. And even Capullo's work on that had cleaned up compared to like the extra scratchiness of Spawn and things like that. But it might be that. I really like the clean lines of that, and those omnis have really I've stared at quite a lot. So
Yeah.
it's probably box standard answer, but it's good stuff.
No, actually, it's not one I feel like I hear a lot. So that's a good answer. I like it. How about favorite writer?
The most fun I've had, probably the Snyder one. I mean, that one I remember reading it at the time as it was coming out. So when I was a kid, I didn't read comics. I looked at them and I drew them. That was all I would do. I would just draw comics, and you'd get comics out of order and you wouldn't know what was happening. And so I was just drawing, and I wasn't really reading. But my first reading experience really was Snyder and Capullo, and I really loved that run by Snyder, and I'm loving Absolute Batman now. I mean, probably that one. That's the one I think about the most, or I remember the most from a writer standpoint.
How did you like his Super Heavy when Gordon is Batman?
I mean, I liked it. I liked all of the, there's some weird stuff with, Jim suddenly looks a lot younger, and
Yeah.
That stamina level got ratcheted up quite a bit.
It did.
And the damage he takes and things like that. But I mean, you had fun designs from Capullo, and it was an interesting sort of, way to reframe everything and give people different roles within the books.
There's something about the Bruce Wayne story. Like, okay, anyone can be Batman if they train hard enough and work out, blah, blah, blah. But there's something about the trauma and the determination of Bruce Wayne. Like, there's only one of that. Like, as much as I've liked stories like the Black Mirror where Dick is Batman, no one to me ever really feels like Batman unless it's Bruce Wayne. There's something about like that character in the suit that no one feels as invincible when they have that cowl on as he does.
Yeah. Well, now that you mentioned some of that, I truly love, Morrison's run. I mean, if we're talking writers, which you get, non-Bruce and in the cowl, and I mean, it doesn't feel like Bruce. It is very different when Dick is in the cowl, but it's, I don't know. He's written differently all over the place, and then in the show, completely different as well. But it is definitely a difference when it is someone in there, because it is not that like gravitas or that like. There's a forwardness that is so, he's so sure of everything that anyone else, there's always some form of a question going on of like, well, can I do this, or is this possible? Versus Bruce is just Bruce.
What's your favorite story?
Ooh. I don't, I mean, it's so cliche, but like Court of Owls was so, it's the first thing I read when I was like really reading it again.
I mean, those first things, man, they leave quite an impression. You know?
Probably that one. I don't know. I really liked, I just read Batman Fugitive, Murderer.
Yeah.
That one's really fun. I mean, it's probably just the object permanence of like, oh, what's in front, what have I read lately? And that's what I'm like enjoying. Or, sometimes I'm really not enjoying, but I read that one recently and really enjoyed that one.
Do you have the noir edition? I think it's a noir edition of Court of Owls.
No.
It's kind of like deluxe volume sized, and it's just like the art in the inks. It's not colored at all.
Oh,
so it's all
amazing.
Black and white. Yeah.
Just beautiful Capullo artwork.
It's the only other one I have is Dark Victory, so there's like a big comparison between the two. Like the Capullo one feels so much more busy looking at everything compared to like what Sale does, but they both work in that form.
I mean, he definitely draws to the pencils and everything else, and the colors make it look great, but it stands alone with just his lines and inks.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Batman actor?
I mean, Keaton.
Nice.
There's something my brain always thinks about. I know it's joked about, but the turns, like the fact that he couldn't move just because of the nature of the costume, but his eyes when he would turn, and whatever the slight smirk on his face, or and that one you get both. I thought I really liked both Bruce and his Batman. Like they're both equally as entertaining, I think, when on screen.
And the fact that like when he came back for the Flash and they're like, you can move your head now, and he's like, no I can't. That's how my Batman moves.
Please don't. That's one of my favorite parts.
That's awesome. On that same tangent, what's your favorite Batman movie?
I mean, Mask of the Phantasm was quite an experience in the theaters as a kid.
You got to see it in the theaters too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we had a whole friend group went to go see it together, which was, a bunch of 10-year-olds having a great time.
My dad took me and my little brother, who must have been like 7. He was like 7. So, that was There's something about that movie on the big screen. It felt so epic. And every time that I've seen it since, like I still get that feeling, even though I'm not watching it on the movie theater screen.
Yeah. No, I like that one a lot. I mean, 89 is, I never had it growing up, but it was a VHS that was at so many of my friends' houses. And anytime I got over there, I'm like, hey, we got to watch this. Let's put this on,
Yeah.
any sleepover, like put the VHS on, please. I need to see this, which is hilarious. But
did you watch it with your Warner Brothers ball cap?
No.
I'm going to guess this answer, but what's your favorite animated show?
From Batman? I mean, animated. I mean,
yeah.
There's no.
If Mask of the Phantasm's your favorite movie,
there's no question.
Kind of figured that's your favorite show.
I mean, that show. A lot of architecture in California when I was growing up was still the Art Deco that was built from that era, but seeing it all in the designs of that show made me fall in love with art to the point where like our wedding invitations were Art Deco based, designs. And I love that whole, there's like a romanticism to that whole design ideology and the visuals and the lettering on everything, the coloring of that. I don't know. I mean, that show is just, I'm sure it's because how old I was and the experiences of watching it when I was a kid, but when I hear the theme now and see it, it hits so hard.
Yeah. It's like the city of Austin water plant.
I literally
power plant.
That when I moved here and I saw that, I was like, it's a villain's lair for Batman. Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
To the point where my parents got me I have a print of it somewhere. Like a super fancy picture that's a print that my parents got for me because I was obsessed with the architecture for that. Because it is so just out of Batman cartoon.
Yeah, it really is. Finally, what is your favorite Batman collectible that you have?
I don't have many, but it's probably I think it's Batman #1. Jimenez has the character design, the layouts where there's the details of the belt and from Fraction and Jimenez Batman run, the current one. That one's probably my favorite. I have it sitting over here where I love the details, and it's fitting for what we're going to talk about because I was rewatching these episodes and the belt is so just taken straight from the show. Even with the angle on the tubes on the side of the belt is just ripped out of there, and then obviously the color. It is that costume, and he's a little lankier in this run, so it has that vibe, which I love. And the baby blue, it's the best.
Yeah. No, I feel so many more influences on this current Batman run's visuals from like past eras, which just adds to my enjoyment for this. And as I ask all my first time guests on this particular show to tell me your Batman 66 story, like how'd you first come across it?
I don't know. I want to say, I would watch reruns. You'd get home from school and it would be on in the afternoon. I have this weird memory of being sick, home from school. And I want to say the reruns used to be on like Nickelodeon when I was a kid, maybe, or maybe TBS. I don't know. One of the older channels
those old,
that may not even be around anymore. But I have this vivid memory of being sick, homesick from school, and watching Batman reruns. And my mom had gotten like Costco blueberry muffins, which was like a rarity for them to buy muffins somewhere. And I remember eating a blueberry muffin and watching reruns. And the thing that struck me was, all the exteriors of the Batmobile leaving the Batcave. It looked like my backyard. Like, it was shot in California in Brunson Canyon in LA.
Yeah.
That's what the canyon in my backyard looked like. So I was just like, the Batcave could be in my canyon right now. It's all that, kind of dirt hillsides with chaparral and lots of browns and like dark muddy greens and everything, which, was contrary to what I saw in the comics that I had and things like that. But that was like, I remember watching it and seeing that, and then eating the blueberry muffin and being sick and just being like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. It's so weird.
Well, today we are talking about 2 episodes. The first is The Joker's Wild, which aired 60 years ago on January 26, 1966. And the second is Batman is Riled, which aired the following night on January 27th. So, as you can guess by the titles, our special guest villain is Cesar Romero as the Joker. So, Romero also played Duke Santos in Ocean's 11, which later got remade with Batman and Robin lead actor George Clooney in the eponymous role, proving once again that it's all connected. So, now the synopsis for these episodes on IMDb reads, the Joker decides to fight fire with fire against Batman with a utility belt of his own. Followed the next night by Batman avoids a public unmasking, but is unable to bring in the Joker thanks to the villain's utility belt. Eventually, Batman and Robin are captured by the Joker's gang, but the Joker doesn't know a showdown with the dynamic duo awaits. So we talked about this off mic. Much like the last 2 episodes, these were also based on a comic, The Joker's Utility Belt, which originally was published in Batman 73, cover dated November of 1952. And later was reprinted in Batman 176, which was cover dated December of 1965, which was an issue that was an 80-page giant of reprints of past Batman stories. I'm guessing I know the answer to this. Have you read that issue or this story?
You can't unless you have it in physical. I don't.
Yeah, I scoured DC Universe Infinite. And not just for those, like plugging in those 2 issues, but like going through all their collections that they have.
Yeah.
The only place I could find it was my own personal copy of The Greatest Joker Stories Ever Told, which was, God, it was $15 cover price.
Wow.
And it was published in 1988. And this is a second printing of it. But if you haven't, this is a audio podcast, but it's got this great Brian Bolland cover of the Joker in side profile holding a laughing fish. And the back has like a Joker playing card. But that comic was a Dick Sprang issue. And, it's 50s gold, and so much of what wound up being in the episodes comes from this comic. And again, like the prior 2 episodes, it's something that was on the newsstands fairly close to the launch of the show. So I just can't imagine, like, I would love to have been a comic book reader back then, reading that, and then within 6 months seeing it brought to life,
Yeah.
I don't feel like this show gets any credit for that. Like when we talk about stuff like, Nolan adapted this scene from year 1, or he took this part from The Dark Knight Returns, or this is, part of No Man's Land. We get all these things that are inspired from the comics, or how, Snyder did a whole like Dark Knight Returns homage in Batman v Superman. But like no one gives the 60s show their props for like literally adapting issues of the comic before Batman the Animated Series did. So it's really surreal to watch it and then read the comic, or vice versa, like I did with the Penguin stuff, and just seeing how they brought it to life. It's really cool.
It's actually kind of incredible. In the ones from the Penguin, that giant umbrella on the set is like, you see that on the page, and it takes up a whole city block, and it's in between these skyscrapers, but the size of the one they built on set, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's immense.
And I've watched some of these episodes before, but I'm finding a renewed appreciation for all that they did. And this episode, the first part of it, opens with what looks like more stock footage, but this time it's showing a state penitentiary. And just in general, like, this show has like way more scope than I remembered. Like, it's not The Dark Knight or Batman Begins where you just see like these vast sweeping landscapes that, you know, the director purposely shot.
Yeah.
But not everything is on a stage.
No.
At this point, at least, you know. And you feel that. Like, you can definitely tell when you go from the stock footage to then like you get on the set, not just because like the picture quality improves, but it just feels like a 60s set, particularly in the second part of the episode.
Yeah.
When we get to the pier, or the very, very limited view of the pier that we get.
Yeah. Long Beach Pier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the stock footage has this, very generic framing, but the shots of Joker and inside the prison yard are actually like really well done.
Yeah.
Like the framing of the shot from, you're seeing him pitch from, and the giant prison wall behind them, it's very lived in feeling versus, the smaller set stuff that you see later on.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge wall. Like, they didn't build that wall.
No.
It feels like they went on a location somewhere and shot it.
Yeah.
And I also liked how they did a call out to the warden and his progressive policies, which is like continuing, I don't want to say like a character arc, but it's continuing something from the last episode with the Penguin, where he mentions his progressive policies. Like, I didn't realize there were other characters that had through lines, outside of our main, Gordon and O'Hara and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like they've mentioned the warden again. Like, I feel like that's not something I think about, like them having some kind of interconnectedness,
No.
especially for like this era of TV.
Yeah. He's not even shown, but he's mentioned a bunch. In that first section, especially with, his views on reform, and they even like really lean into it. Like, there's nothing that he likes more than reformed criminals, like very like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Really lean into it.
And I said in the last episode, the Penguin episode, like you can pick this apart like so easily, like trying to apply logic to it, especially coming from like a modern standpoint where we have movies that have to explain every little thing. But and this is more of like, you just got to roll with it and accept things at face value. But it's part of the comedies, like watching and being like, how in the hell did they rig this spring underneath the pitcher mound for like the Joker to escape? Like, like, why did they have to? They could have done it any time to inject themselves out, but no, let's do it during the middle of a baseball game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the theatrics though. Like, Joker's like, okay, well, let's make a big show of this, right? Because they said he flew too fast for them to get a shot off in the first place, so the smoke screen was irrelevant. But the fun of the whole thing is just, and the fact that like when you first see it, you're like, well, where does he land? Like, to go over that wall and land, you're gonna die, or at least break both your legs. Yeah. And then they mentioned, he had a perfectly aligned net out there to catch him, which is just great.
It's like no one noticed that, I guess.
No, the whole setup outside the prison.
And
and the statue underneath. Like, there was pre-planning for everything later on too, with the bus that's in there.
There's like what, 4 different henchmen he's got in that museum, and they come out of these statues. And again, you're talking about like the showmanship of it, and I mean, Romero's just chewing it up, saying every individual character's name. Yeah. But like, part of me was like, why didn't he just like say everybody come out, and then they
you need a roll call.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's fun. And I, like, as a kid, you didn't think about it. And then as a teen, after, 89 came out, it was like, this isn't really Batman. And now in my 40s watching this, it's like, okay, no, this is funny. And And it's like I'm watching it for like some of these episodes, for like a third time or more, and I can appreciate it now on a different level. So
Yeah. Well, and this was the first I was exposed to Batman, so I'm fine with every era is just as fun to me.
yeah,
Which was why I loved Morrison, because he decided to
brought
condense
everything
all
together.
of those pieces into one.
Yeah. And as the story kind of shifts from like the Joker, we get, our typical, what are Bruce and Dick doing? And Dick's practicing piano with Aunt Harriet, and I love like just Adam West's reactions in the scene. Like it doesn't sound bad.
No.
Like it's not horrible, but like he is wincing and he's just got like this side eye, like, what is this kid doing? Like, God, this is so like if it's that bad, I'm sure there's another room you could go to and read your newspaper in peace. But
yeah, that was literally one of my notes, was the extreme reaction of, he's just like, this is terrible. This kid is never gonna make it as a piano player.
Right. It's like, what a letdown you are, Dick. You fight crime all night, get good grades. You're captain of whatever, sports or debate team or whatever he is. But you can't play Chopin. So you're a failure at life. Because as we all know, music is a universal language and the best hope for the brotherhood of man.
That part, I was just like, oh my gosh. Which makes, okay, I can see why, if his lofty goals of music are that high, that he would want Dick to be more proficient at piano. Like,
yeah.
It's just insane.
It's like last episode was all about like, you got to speak all these different languages so you can unite everybody. And now it's like, well, music really is where it's at this week. That's the ultimate language.
It's so good.
It's so funny. And then this time, they break tradition. I mean, it's only like really the third episode, but they don't go out to go fishing this time. Now it's a ball game.
Yeah.
So I like that they trick it up. It's not always fishing.
That sudden midday, oh, we gotta go. The ball game, and Harry is just like, oh, what? Baseball.
And I don't know if it's a stock shot of them racing down to the Batmobile, but the safety lock for the atomic pile that we saw in the Penguin episode was not present on top of in the Batcave. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling that we're never going to see that again. So Batman, this is something I want to talk to you about, like the characterization of Batman. Like they show up at police headquarters and somehow he misses the no parking sign until he steps out of the Batmobile and sees it. And then the officer's like, oh, no, Batman, it's okay. And he like moves the sign. He's like, oh, okay, phew.
But he was immediately going to get back in and move. He was like, oh, I can't break this law.
Like, and that's just Batman in general in this show. Like he's so law abiding, like you got to use the crosswalk, make sure you got like, he's like a role model.
Yeah. Well, he's polite. And I mean, he apologized to the museum director. Like, I'm sorry, we had to make you close early. Like, the reason being that like everyone might die because the Joker's there trying to rob jewels. But like, I'm sorry, I messed up your day a little bit.
So what struck me about it too is like everyone rags on Superman being the big blue Boy Scout. And there's definitely elements of that in like the Christopher Reeve portrayal. But like really, who's more of a Boy Scout? Superman or like Adam West Batman? Like he is just as goody as any Superman I've ever seen.
Oh, especially in this. I mean, he's very, both in like the things he says in costume, but also, just like we're talking about the piece through music, and there's some stuff we'll talk about in the next episode when Robin's reacting to the newspaper upset, and he talks about, well, that's the press's job to tell us the facts and let us know what's happening, regardless of who it hurts. And it's just very like a classic 60s father figure of like, we're gonna do the right thing, son.
I really feel like he could give Superman a run for his money in that regard. So
yeah,
And it's, they go to the museum, and it was nice to see the show adapting the Comedian Hall of Fame with the bus, because like that was something from the comic. It just didn't have like the guards like inside the or not the guards, the henchmen popping up from the inside of the statue. But originally he's there because he wants to steal the jewels, and that all leads to the utility belt plot. But then we get to like our first like big fight scene. And did it feel off to you at all without having like the stereotypical music?
Not honestly, I didn't notice that it didn't have the music. I was just laughing at just the sheer like level of haymakers everyone is trying to throw. I mean, everyone is just going for the full knockout on all these punches. The scramble, everything about it was just over the top. That the music highlights even more. But
in the comic version, it's a large painting that is jarred from all the fighting, which comes off its hook and comes crashing down on Batman. And when you see like the comic, it's not just like a large painting. It's like 3 times the size of Batman, maybe. And like the edge of the frame, like, which the frame is like bigger than his head. It like lands on his neck. And that, stuns him enough to where the Joker's men grab him. Versus here, it's like that sword, and it's really kind of awkwardly staged where you see it shaking, and then Robin calls out to him, and then it's like too late. He's already down.
It's a very small sword, though. Like,
yeah,
in the scheme of things,
like it doesn't seem like it would take him out. Like, but and then when they're incapacitated and Batman kind of comes to, and it's only. West only opens like one eye to like peek around.
Yeah.
Because he's feigning being asleep. But even when he starts like his reveal of I'm not, passed out after all, like he's still doing it with one eye closed.
Oh, that's great. The announcement of everything. He could have just pulled the smoke bomb out and let it rip, and the theatrics of it that are always present in the show. It's some of my favorite parts of the whole thing. It's so over the top.
And so everybody goes their separate ways. The Joker gets away, and they go back to his hideout, and his utility belt, obviously because it's based on the comic, but like the utility belt that they use in the show looks similar to the one from the comic. I mean, they're using the Batman belt as the Adam West belt as their basis. But the comic belt's pretty similar to that as well, where it's just a big Joker head in the middle clasp. It's like Batman's belt, but with a Joker face on it. And that's what they do. Like it's more sculpted in the comic versus the show is painted on.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they did a fairly good job adapting it. And
they had a large canvas with that.
Yeah. And the last time I watched this a few months ago, like they introduced the Joker's mall, Queenie, which I don't know if you felt this way at all, but to me, she felt very much like a prototype for Harley Quinn. Did you get that vibe at all? Or
yeah, I mean, obviously not, when I was a kid seeing it all, but this one now you're like, oh, I can see where that came from, because she's she gets involved in the action in the second episode of the story.
Yeah, she's got like a bit of an accent.
Yeah.
Queenie is very much Quinn. I don't know. It may have been an influence for them. I'm not sure, but like to me, I'm like, oh, this feels like she's a prototype of Harley. Like she definitely doesn't seem. I don't know if I got the impression that Jill St. John was like the Riddler's girlfriend in the first episode, but it feels like there's some kind of connection a little bit more with Queenie and Joker to me.
Oh yeah. Well, and he, it feels like his plans being explained to his henchmen is secondary to, his focus is her mostly when he's explaining these things, and her reactions are much more lively compared to the other guys. Like, oh, what? Oh, okay. they're very.
Like he's trying to please her, it feels like.
Yeah, he's showing off in his own way.
And Joker, Gordon, when they get wind of like the next stage of the plot, it's like, well, can't do anything. Time to call Batman. And I love how Batman is out for the day per Alfred.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, Batman's gone right now. He can't help you. It's just such a thing of that era, where we didn't have cell phones, and
yeah,
it's like, well, he's not here. I'll let him know when he comes back. But the show's established that Gordon's been over to Wayne Manor many times. They're close friends, and he has dinner there often. And yet, when he calls Batman, he never once puts together that it's Alfred's voice. Like, how many English guys are there in Gotham where you don't put two and two together? Especially,
in the show, it's so, unique to that actor. In the phrasing, or you'd be like, you would just know.
And I guess at that point too, like that, that not prop, the Joker throws like that clue through the window when Bruce and Dick are there. They give each other like this look. We're like, well, yeah, Batman's out for the day because we're here right now. But he's like, can I have that thing as a memento? And they're like, sure. Like, we don't need police evidence.
No.
We don't need to categorize it. Have a memento of that time you crossed paths with crime once again, And what really made me laugh is Chief O'Hara, when they leave to go, are they going to see Chopin? Is that their excuse?
Yeah.
O'Hara's like, a fat lot of help he'd be against someone like the Joker. It's like, bro, you literally are no help at all, and you have to call Batman in to save it, or you're going to put down Bruce Wayne for being like, he's not going to be any use. Like, you're no good to anyone either, O'Hara.
Well, like, and they're instead of doing any work on this new evidence or anything, they go to a show.
Yeah.
They're like,
okay. When we do get to the Joker as Pagliacci, did you get Dark Knight prologue vibes?
Oh, I mean, it's immediate. The moment you see it, you're like, oh, yeah. Okay, well.
Like that has to be an homage by Nolan, right? I don't think I've ever seen him comment or say anything like that. But it feels like too big of a coincidence.
It's so close. It's not.
Yeah.
If it isn't, that'd be an absurd coincidence, honestly.
And so they're showing this opera concert on TV, and they're playing it at a bar of all places. I don't get the drunk guy. Like, I don't know if he was a character actor from other shows, and like this was like a part he played. I don't get the comedy of him, or like why we spend so much time seeing this particular dude's reactions to everything.
And it was weird because it's just his reaction. Like, the people who are with him aren't really reacting to him either.
Yeah.
Like they're just ignoring, like, oh, he's drunk and whatever.
I don't know if he was a famous comedian at the time, or
it had to be something, because he's given so much screen time for such a little sort of inconsequential thing.
It's so bizarre. But when Batman and Robin show up during the performance, like, their swinging's pretty cool. Like, it looks like something coming from the comic book.
The angle that they shot it from is great too.
Yeah. And I like the camera work too for when Joker's addressing the camera specifically. And we get even more of that kind of off-kilter camera work in the second part. When they go to like the TV station and one of his goons is like working the camera, so it feels unprofessional.
Yeah,
like nothing's quite in frame.
Yeah, you get the shake and the focus goes in and out.
Yeah, like it all makes it feel like that much more urgent. and in your face. But that's also the thing where, like, let me back this up a second. Like, I originally watched these for the first time in, a smattering of episodes and reruns like yourself during the 80s, though. And it wasn't shown on like ABC, CBS, uh, NBC, which were like really strong signals. It was always on like Channel 11 for us, which was like the Fox affiliate, or Channel 18, which was like a UHF. Like it wound up becoming like UPN and then CW, but they weren't like the strong signals. So the picture quality was always not great. So I never picked up on Romero having a mustache. Like never. It wasn't until like these things started coming out on DVD. I'm like, oh. And now that it's on Blu-ray and it's being cleaned up, like when he takes his mask off in part 1, and he's addressing the camera specifically, like that thing is clear as day painted over. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on this show was, in talking with you, you're like, the Joker was your favorite villain. What about Romero as a Joker just grabs you so much?
It's the combo of he's so over the top, like just vocal performance wise, aside from anything else, right? It's had to be exhausting, the amount of like the cackling and the energy he put forth, but the physicality too. His hair is always flopping around and looks crazy and disheveled. The scene would start with it, nice and arranged and coiffed, but then as the scene would go on, it would start flopping sideways and falling crooked, or hanging around. And the way he went so far into it, some people like Adam West is kind of reserved. He's still over the top, but it's still like it's a reserved performance, and measured, versus, Cesar was just so forward and so in your face, and just he was like a Space Invader, person you'd meet in real life. You're like, all right, like you're too close right now. But he was like that with everyone, in the way he would lean into everything, and it was so larger than life as a kid. I mean, how do you not respond to all, the colors of the costume and the face paint, the sort of maniacal villain of it all? I guess when you're a kid, it lines up with the things you'd see on like cartoons and stuff, where it's just super over the top and pops out of the screen. But also, no one talks about, like, he gives a really crazy singing performance that no one mentions whatsoever. And when I was watching, I half thought like he would take that, take the singer hostage or something like that. And I don't remember that being the Joker. And you take his, I'm like, that was my first thought, was he was singing. Like, wow, this dude can do it all. It's such an over the top performance, but I don't know. He's so memorable visually. I noticed the mustache thing when I was a kid. I just kind of thought it was part of it. Like it lended an extra creepiness to it.
I love how the 66 comic incorporates the mustache into it. It's like they're in the drawings that they put it in there. It just cracks me up. I feel like his hair, though, changes colors throughout the episode. Like sometimes it's like a bright green, and other times it's like this weird greenish yellow brown hybrid. But I mean, the costume is on point, and it was so formative to me before we got like 89 with Nicholson's Joker. Like I feel like that laugh was so memorable and distinct and different than how the Riddler laughs. And definitely, I feel like he's a more in control maniacal presence than like the Riddler is. Like the Riddler to me feels more unhinged than the Joker, at least in this show. But it's iconic, and he set the bar. And as we keep going on and getting more and more Jokers, it's nice to go back to like the beginning and look at like this classic form, even though like even he's not perma-white. Like, I don't think they explain, to my knowledge, definitely not in these episodes, of how he became the Joker. Like we've seen with Penguin and Riddler, they've all been around for a while when the show starts. But there are certain times where you can see, like, between his cufflinks and like the cuffs of his suit and like his gloves, that he's not white there on his wrists.
No.
You know.
Well, and you see most of his neck in the prison when he's playing baseball in the prison.
Yeah.
You just see where kind of the smear blends in with his normal neck skin tone.
And I don't know if that's I mean, they probably didn't put that much thought into it, you know. So it's probably not like some intention of like, well, this Joker paints himself every day. I don't think they probably thought that deep about it. Like, if we get to the cliffhanger, and it's really important here because it reads off, the title cards read off, could this mean curtains? Will the identities of our dynamic duo be revealed to the whole world? Is this the end of their career as crime fighters? Can they avert disaster? Like, bro, wrap it up, man. Answers tomorrow night, same time, same channel. That's what the text reads. But the actual voiceover, the announcer says, answers tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. And that is the first time that we hear this. So, third story, 5th episode, we finally get the bat time, bat channel for all those keeping count at home. And with that, at the end of the first part, we're going to take a quick pause for these words from our sponsors. Now, as we pick up with part 2, we get through the recap, we do the credit song, and then they're showing credits over like footage that feels like what we just saw in the last episode. There's like no audio. And I thought maybe that was like an issue with the Blu-ray, because I went and checked the digital copy I have as well. There was no audio there. It just felt really odd. But Batman uses a capsule from his belt to cause a distraction to stop their unmasking on live TV, which gives us a really good close-up of the belt. Like, you can see like the wood that like his pouch was made out of, and like it's like a leather lid to it. So we've established what the belt looks like really clearly. And then, like, not even a minute later, his utility belt's totally different. And it's changed to reflect like new gadgets that he's about to use. So like all of a sudden, like these normal wood pouches are like these giant boxes on his belt for like the batarang and the rope and everything and the cuffs. And we get another weird rope climb again.
You didn't like that one?
I mean, they're all, it's not the side of the building rope climb. It's like he throws a batarang and then he's like pulling himself up, but it's like this weird flying thing. And I went through like frame by frame, and like only 2 frames could I barely see a wire attached to his belt, you know, that was doing the actual hoisting. Cause you know, there's the physics of him pulling himself up that way, like, don't match.
Yeah.
But like the show hides it really well.
Yeah.
So
you're talking when they're getting into the museum, right? Or not the museum, the like storage facility.
No, when they escape from the Joker holding him down, like the Joker's men holding him down, and the Joker runs away, and he's like up in the gantry.
Oh yeah.
Studio, because there's nothing for him to like wall climb up, so he's kind of like just using his arms to.
That one stood. I was like, because he goes underneath a bar and then is on the gantry, so either they had enough slack that he could climb the rope, swing over the bar and underneath the bar, and it would track through there. But I don't know. I was like, well, like that actor must have been, really working on his arm strength to get up that rope, because he does it so easily, which I'm sure was just the wires helping swing and pull.
And Burt Ward gets up there eventually after Joker throws like this confetti thing that wraps Batman up, which is clearly like filmed in reverse of him wrapping himself up in like this confetti thing. But like Burt Ward's physicality there of him climbing onto the gantry is like pretty impressive. Like
that was the one where I was like, oh, like, okay.
Yeah, good job, Bert.
Which tracks for his, character history. Like, he should be very nimble on ropes and gantries, and
and just like the song, the Joker got away. Which leads to like this newscast, which was a real newscaster from the day. But he's talking about how like the Cape Crusaders failed. It's turning public sentiment to the negative, and you brought it up earlier, but like I just had to laugh of like he's giving out all these personal details about his son Henry or something.
I can't remember his Harold, little
Harold. And like he went to bed tonight and in reverence looked up. And dear God, bless mom and dad and my dog Spot, and Batman, please save us. So funny. And I don't know.
It's so over the top and so personal, where he's just, oh, little Harold, really torn up about this. Like,
my 8-year-old son, he was like a breath away from saying my 8-year-old son who lives at like 123 Main Street in Gotham City, USA.
The earliest
249. Yeah.
Original doxing.
Yeah. And just like the disappointment like Batman and Robin have of like, oh, we let little Harold down.
Yeah.
And then they figure out where the Joker is again, and it's nighttime now, and like the Batmobile like just looks so cool at night with like those like orangey headlights that glow.
Oh, it looks amazing. But I was like, they're not going to see anything with those headlights.
No, not at all. But it looks really cool. And,
oh yeah.
And it's surprising to me because like, this is like the 5th episode, but like there's a lot more nighttime stuff going on in the show than I remembered.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get another fight, but it's without music or the onomatopoeia this time. So again, like I feel a little cheated, Greg.
That one felt not as, I don't know. The thing that made the first one work was just the insane, like, I'm going to knock you into next week punches everyone's trying to throw when they're in the museum. And in this one, it's more subdued, and there's more of like the shuffling around noises and, stuff like that. But I honestly, when we got to that fight, I was still thinking about how cool when they scale the side of the building to go in, they do the turn camera, the backdrop they put.
Yeah.
Looks like what you would see in the comics, where you see the giant water stills on top of the buildings and the way it's lit and things like that. I was still stoked on that sort of sequence where they're having the conversation climbing up the side of the building. That I was like, oh, I love, whoever had to draw that giant matte painting behind them, or whatever they used for that was so great that I was probably still thinking about that when they were fighting with all the confetti and stuff inside.
No, that's a great backdrop, whoever worked on that. And I feel like the one thing that this fight had going for it, because it was so just disjointed and claustrophobic, like they were really in tight for a lot of the fighting, and it was hard to follow. Which like all the chaos adds to when you get to the reveal that during the scuffle the Joker switched belts with him. So like in that regard it works, but as like just what my expectations have become for like the show and like the formula, I'm like, oh, like where's my music?
Yeah.
But like the balloons that pop up, that those are straight from the comic, like hooray for Joker and who's the Batman, whatever they said, that's straight from the book.
Which those cracked me up because like the maximum troll level of like, all right, everybody, we got to start prepping for this fight that we have coming. I need signs on balloons, targeted signs, like
right.
And then again, Adam West, there was a line. There's amazing lines he has in this, because before this, when they're, I think he says it at the end of the television studio fight, he says this time the Joker came to the party. Next time we'll hand out the door prizes, right?
Yeah.
Like fantastic. Like, and then in this one, when you get through all the confusion, and he says he hit us below the belt. I don't know why it cracked me up so much when they're with the Joker belt and having it be right after you see those signs and everything. Like, just the maximum trolling that he's doing.
Yeah,
the prep it would take to do all this.
Yeah, I wrote that quote down too. Like he hit us below the belt. Like it's so funny. And the Joker is like, let us away, let us away. Like I feel like he says that more than once throughout the show. Like that, I feel like that's a catchphrase for him. But in the comic version, like the utility belt, he's like throwing pellets that turn into like flowers, and then the flags read, okay, so it's not like the signs dropping down on parachutes. They're like little flag stands that pop up, and it's like, hooray for the Joker, poor Batman, phooey on Batman, phooey on Robin. Like those are the big insults of 1952 apparently. And in the comic version, it's not that he switched belts on him, he puts his belt over Batman's belt. Except his belt doesn't have the Joker clasp on it. It just looks like a regular utility belt. And Batman realizes, oh, it's a clever imitation which fitted right over mine. The Joker must have slipped it on me while we were struggling. It's like wow.
I mean, he's got skills.
Yeah.
He can troll you and pickpocket you or swap your belt out mid-fight. Sing.
Yeah. He can do it all. And there's also a cool shot following this where it's showing like all the headlines, and it's like just a black background and the newspapers are spinning up and showing how Batman got defeated and humiliated by the Joker. And that's something that Tim Burton does in 89.
Yeah.
And it's talking about like stuff earlier, like the Pagliacci mask, looking like the one in the Dark Knight. Like this show is like way more influential in other ways beyond just like the theme song and the holy this and the pow and the bam. Like there are a lot of like subtle references or callbacks or influences that I don't think a lot of people notice or pick up on. I know I haven't.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just speaks to how bold the visuals and the everything of the show is, that like there's so many things that stick out in my mind when I think back on it, as opposed to even speaking where the mask comes into play with Dark Knight. Like my mind's like mental image of the show is so broad, and like all the different things, right? Not only just the costumes, the visual look of it, the Batman swipes, like the the scene transitions with the bat symbol spinning in and out, the music, all of the onomatopoeia. There's so much to it. Even the ending with same bad time, same bad chance. Like there's so much that sticks out that, at least for me, like my brain will randomly say at times, sometimes, or someone will say something that triggers something from that I think about. Or when I'm reading newer comics and someone makes a subtle homage, and there's some sort of a Robin-ism of holy this or holy that Batman or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, it's that thing that I love so much, that when I think about like Dark Knight, I think of like dark golden browns and dark blacks, like it's with some pops of color here and there. But this one was just so over the top and everything that anyone who is working on these properties now, who at least was younger then, or either saw it in reruns or saw it as it was coming out, like how could they not be influenced by that? Because it speaks to the inner kid in all of this,
Yeah, even like the Batman, which is fairly grim and gritty and grounded. If you look at it, like what does it have in common with the Adam West show? Well, the cowl looks kind of similar, like the way the cranium is.
Mhm.
And the fact that, you know, the 66 movie has Joker, Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin, and we see all four of those in the
Mhm.
Batman to one shape, one degree or form or another, you know.
Yeah.
It's like little things like that where someone's paying like tribute to something they loved as a kid and just recontextualizing it. Which again makes, you know, going back to the show a lot of fun. And the cork plot segment that we're into now, that was also from the comic, but here, like, they flesh it out a little bit more, of, you know, how the Joker is going to use it, because the comic teases like this cork the whole issue, like, and his crew are like, what is with this cork? He's like, this is the grand, you know, scheme of my plan, like, it's a cork. He's like, no, it's the best thing ever. And, you know, he teases it the whole issue. And then finally he reveals like it's going in this thing in the wine or the champagne they're going to bust when they christen the SS Gotham. And in the comic, Batman notices the color right away. In the show, it's 1949 was a very good year. Like, Batman's a champagne connoisseur. In the comic, he's like, Robin, notice the color of the wax. It hasn't faded at all. If this is 1936 champagne, and paraffin wax is known to discolor with age. So they realize that it's been tampered with, and they go get another one in the comic. And so they christen the ship. Everything's great. And then suddenly, an unexpected development. This lady grabs the old bottle, and she's like, I want to have fun too. Hurrah! And like crashes it against the ship, and the gas comes out, and that's when the Joker kidnaps Batman and Robin again. Which I kind of wanted to see that in the show, but instead, and it's equally as funny. Batman's like, "Oh, I've got a headache. I got to take this headache pill." He's like, "Here, Robin, you need this too. It's contagious."
That was the way, because Robin's like, "What? I've never heard of a headache being contagious." And the way Bruce hits him with the doctor's orders, you know, like. Oh, he's like, okay.
He just, and it's not like one of those things where like you hint at something, you're like, right, and then they're like, oh, like I got it. Like, Robin has no idea. He's just like, well, Batman said it, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I'll take this horse pill. It looks like 2 Tums taped together.
Yeah, you know.
But the cork plot, I wonder if, like, obviously it's a story like tool to convey like how these things, but like I feel like it illuminates like how many other people besides a rich millionaire in Bruce, like a you know, real cultured, like, you know, at least the Playboy Bruce, like I wouldn't know that, you know, what regular person would know about, like, oh, that cork is, you know, that, like, that's a wine snob, that's a, you know,
it's very much like a James Bond moment, you know.
Yes, like high society, you know, inside, you know, ball game, like, oh, this is cheap, or, you know, this is expensive, like, based on that, you know.
Should have gone with the 53. Like, it pairs so much better with ship christenings than the 49. But all that is to basically kidnap them again and bring him back to his hideout, and all he wants is the title to the SS Gotham, or he's gonna behead Batman and Robin. Like, that's the plot now.
Yeah,
that's where we're at, and it's like you could just steal it, but like, 'cause if you like thinking about the mechanics of it, logistics of it, like, okay, you have the title of the ship, but like everyone knows what you did to get it. So it's still illegal. Like, they're still going to come after you for a crime.
Yeah, the Coast Guard and the Navy are still gonna.
Yeah. In the comic version, ha ha ha. Now that I've won the battle of the utility belts, I've got another belt for you, Batman. A conveyor belt. Ho ho ho. And there's this giant conveyor belt that leads into this furnace that has a giant Joker face around it. So it's like they're being fed into the Joker's mouth, which is on fire basically. And so they put Robin on it first, and he's got to like run, and like if he screws up, then he falls on the belt and it takes him into the Joker fire mouth. And so Batman still he sees the Joker's utility belt, and he steals like these snake pellets out of it and throws them at the gears. So when the pellets hit, they pop into like, joke snakes, and those wrap around the gears and allow it to break so Robin can get off. And then he just unleashes all of the Joker's utility belt. So all the sneezing powder and itching powder and the squirting badge, they all come into play to take him out.
The sneezing powder is such a good, like, yeah. When they use it in the at the performance and they think it's something else, like, oh, it's just sneezing powder, like,
yeah.
Gotcha. But I guess it leans into the practical joke, sort of, the electric can buzzer and the.
Now, this final fight in the Joker's lair in the show has music, but no onomatopoeia at first. It has like this weird voiceover during the fight of like Batman yelling, like, "This is how we figured it out," and tricked you. And then once he gets through with that, then we finally get, to the bam and the pow. And I noticed this time too, like when it does show up, there's like this yow, and there's like this tongue in the middle of the O, and the tongue wags. Like it goes back. I've never picked up on that before. And there's a lot of like really good prop use in the fight because there's all this stuff around the Joker's hideout that gets thrown around. How did you like this fight?
It was fun. I don't know. For me, the fun of the fights in this show are always like, it's silly. It's it's like it becomes a stage play. With these, but they still do. All the Dutch angles come in more so, and I guess without the music, at least what you're used to or what your brain remembers when you think about these fights. I don't know. They're fights. It's kind of like in the comics where you're like, I don't know if you glaze over sometimes when it's just multiple panels in a row of people punching each other without the melodrama or the snarky remarks, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, it finally, the third fight, we finally get the classic like music and the words. But it all comes back to like a pretty abrupt end in this one. Like I like it, but like all of a sudden, like the belt kind of falls on the ground and then they step on it and you see the things go off and it's like, okay, time's ticking. We got to wrap this up and we're out of budget, I guess. Let's call it for the day and go take a cigarette break. Like it just ends so quickly. And then we're back to the manor. There's not really a whole lot to that final scene. Did you pick up anything from that?
I don't know. The thing that I thought was the funniest was just Alfred, like, oh, if you play the piano, I'll get you some milk and cookies. And
yeah.
She's like, oh, all right. Like, I don't know. It's a different dynamic with all of that. I don't know. I imagine that they were, these episodes are pretty stuffed as far as locations and things happening, and
yeah,
that they were probably just like, oh, hold on, guys, we're running out of time here, and probably money. I mean, you're all over the place in these episodes.
And I mentioned on prior episodes, I got the complete television series Blu-ray box set the year that Adam West passed away, and there's an error on the discs for that set where the tease for like the next episode got cut off. It's there on the digital versions. Like if I watch it on like my Fandango or whatever, there's the tease and it says next week, Batman versus Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. Scuba Steve.
Yeah. So that's a whole other like ball of trivia to get into next time. with Mr. Zero / Mr. Freeze. But like I like that they tease that out for like the next, who next week's villain was going to be. Like that's a cool way to do things, I think.
Yeah. The suit is hilarious, but
yeah. So for these 2 episodes, we have our holy head count of 4. We have holy Koufax, which is something he says is dick. And then Robin gives us holy grammar, holy safari, and holy headlines.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got 4 of them that I counted at any rate.
I'll never get enough of those. They always crack me up. This Burt Ward's deliveries is so it's so sharp almost, like his tonality in the pitch, and it leans into the like him being the younger, like sort of annoyed.
He's very excitable.
Yeah. The whole grammar thing cracked me up too when they're trying to solve that riddle of what the next thing's going to be based on that, and Alfred is explaining the verbiage and everything to them.
You don't laugh good, you laugh well.
Yeah, but he says it with so
Yeah, and he's English, so you believe him because
you're like, oh, well, you're an expert.
Language. Yeah. How many Shakespeare busts out of 5 would you give this episode?
Will you go like both of them combined, the one story? Or?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta. This 5. Like, I was the moment you see Joker pitching in the prison yard, I'm in. We're outside. It's a real place. There's a tangibility to it, and the absurdity of it at the same time. Like why is O'Hara there, like just catching a game at the prison yard, like or the whole spring thing. There's all the plays on. He got sprung, or all the classic euphemisms for getting out of jail, and then the thing you mentioned at the beginning, it was the artist that was something Spring, right?
Spring. Dick Spring did the art for the comic.
Yeah, it all comes together. Like,
yeah,
he uses the spring to get out. It's drawn by Dick Spring. Like, what? It's too much fun. Like, and like we said, like it travels. Like it's not. Here's our one big set piece. Here's our one big, like, we're going from different thing to different thing to different thing. We're all over the place. And you get a good balance, too, of, socialite Bruce, or, Bruce at home. And I don't know. It was great. You get to really, like, live in all the different places. Plus, all the little details. We were talking about how polite, how much of a Boy Scout Batman is, that just carry through both episodes. Now, there's so much to it, Bruce talking about music's going to heal the world. His comments about the press, the responsibility of the press is to report the truth. Like, I don't know. There's so many little aspects to it that you get both from Bruce, from Batman, from everyone. Plus, then you have Cesar Romero just going crazy and everything. It's super fun.
Was there anything in this episode that we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about?
I like that they swing back around to Little Harold with the follow-up news report.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just, they mention all that stuff. I don't know. The
Little
sneezing.
Harold is going to sleep well tonight.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so good. I don't know. I took a bunch of notes, but it's more just me being excited. Oh, my favorite thing, there's the onomatopoeia we were talking about earlier. There's so many little things, or not the onomatopoeia, the alliteration.
Oh yeah.
When he on that, really. There's a couple of them. The one I wrote down though was when he talks about Batman's belt, and Joker calls it that ghastly girdle. Like it's so silly. It's so over the top. I don't know if I wrote down any of the other ones, but they're so good.
I wonder if
the labeled Batman poles,
yeah,
and the sign, like why does Batman need signage for his own house? Is to access to the Batcave via the bat poles, and then You have your sign pull.
Well, I mean, you don't want him to show up in Robin's costume.
What? I would love to know how that works. Like,
have you seen the animated movies that Adam West and Burt Ward did?
No.
There's two of them. There's Return of the Caped Crusaders, and then there's, I forget what the name of it is, like Two-Face Strikes Again or Twice or something. But in the first one, you get a little bit of a look at how it happens, like not a lot, but it shows them like going and like getting suited up as they're going down the poles.
That's
And
amazing.
there's some great stuff in that, like Adam West reciting Dark Knight Returns dialogue in that one, which is like, it's mind blowing. And then the second one is they have William Shatner as Two-Face.
Oh, wow.
So it's like him meeting animated Batman meeting Two-Face for the first time.
I'll have to check those out.
Yeah, and there's like a little like Easter egg where it kind of pays tribute to all the different Catwomen.
Well, that's
And
cool.
in fact, it has Julie Newmar and Lee Merriweather doing voice roles in that episode, because Eartha Kitt sadly is no longer with us. But at the time when they were made, like you still had, Adam West and Burt Ward and Julie Newmar kicking around. So they came back and did their own voices. And then who they got to play the other characters, because like Riddler and Joker and Penguin are in it, do pretty good jobs of trying to sound like their 60s counterparts.
That's amazing.
I want to say, I could be wrong, I want to say the guy who voices the Riddler also does him in the Arkham games, but I'm not, don't quote me on that. Obviously you haven't played them, so
No.
but they're a lot of fun, dude. I highly recommend both of those animated movies. I don't know if they're on HBO Max right now.
I know one of them is, because I was looking to see if I could watch this on there, but
they're definitely worth checking out. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. How did you feel about these episodes?
I'm pretty similar to you. I think I would lean towards that 5. Like there's not really, maybe like a 4.5, just because of my own, like if I'm being nitpicky, I'm like, oh, I wish they would have had the more music during the fights. But there was so much going on and going into this, and they really fleshed out this short comic really well, because this is an era where there'd be multiple Batman stories in an issue of Batman, so the thing is like maybe 10 pages long. And the fact that they got a 50-minute 2-part TV show out of it, they really brought it to life in a pretty unique and fun way. And yeah, I would say at this point, like the show is 3 for 3 in adapting comics, and with their own 60s trappings.
Yeah.
And as much as like flack as these have gotten through, how it's kind of ebbed and flowed throughout time, like critical reception of it, like some of the things that you would poke at or make fun of, like came straight from the source from that era. So, and granted, it was different. The 50s and 60s were a different time for Batman before we, get to Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. But like they were just doing what was in front of them. So you can't, while they did make it a comedy, you can't lay the blame solely at them, because the Joker having his own utility belt and putting it on top of Batman's and Batman not noticing, like, come on. Like,
I don't know. I know some people don't like it, that 89 is their, pinnacle, but, and it's probably biased just because of my age when I saw this originally, and it's just so fun. Like I put it on, it's like instant, like time traveling,
yeah,
back to that age and watching this and not having the trappings of what anyone else thought, and just enjoying something that I enjoyed without worrying about it, other than how much fun I was having.
Now there have been days too where I've just like come home from work or whatever, and you just need to like to chill out and turn off and like putting on one of these is like a good way to do that, you know? Like there's something that hits me in like the nostalgia button. And, you know, I feel like that 8-year-old watching it, you know, after like the cartoons had been done for the morning and now we're on to the live action Batman rerun. You know, well, my parents are still kind of asleep. and just doing nothing on a Saturday morning, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's a great time.
Well, I really had a lot of fun talking with you, buddy. Where can people find you if they want to reach out? Do you have anything you want to promote?
Nowhere.
Okay.
I you know, I used to be very public facing and, you know, playing in bands and traveling around, and now I'm a little more insular and I just enjoy the people I hang out with in real life, and you know, my social media has just turned to where I look for comic news and art and inspiration and music, and I don't post, so there's nothing worth following. So it's just, you know.
Yeah, I need to be I need to be so much better about that, promoting like this show. But yeah, I'm kind of the same. It's like I go to Facebook to look at like comic and toy news. Like, when is this new hot toy coming out? Okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
I'm enjoying existing old school style now, like when I was 10.
Exactly. Like when the show was on.
Yes.
So, well, thank you again, man. I appreciate your time, and hopefully we can do this again.
No, thank you. I had a blast.
Well, with all that said, make sure that you like and subscribe to the official Batman on Film YouTube channel. Go to the website where I've got written reviews for Batman and Robin, which just ended as of this recording. And make sure you check out Bill's reviews for Absolute Batman, Ryan on Batman, Pete on Detective, and all the other content that's up there. We appreciate you guys listening, and we'll have announcer Rachel take us out.
You've been listening to the original and official podcast of the Batman on Film website. Follow BOF on Threads at the Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jet and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original. Batman on Film, founded in 1998.